Give you a sense of, to get you oriented, that was west. So those are the Santa Lucia Mountains. Those get up to about 3,000 feet, and that's what really protects the Paso Robles climate. It lets it warm up as much as it does. If you're on the other side of those mountains, 7 or 8 miles away from here, in the middle of the summer it's going to be 62 and foggy every day. But here it's 95 and sunny. But the fact that we're so close to the Pacific and so close to all that cold air that sits over the Pacific means that as soon as you get later in the afternoon, you get a sea breeze that kicks up off the water, it blows the heat of the day to the east, and then as soon as the sun goes down, it's so dry that it just radiates off. We're hardly ever foggy here. It's not like the Sonoma Coast, it's not like the Santa Maria Valley. Those mountains act as a pretty hard barrier to the fog. And so we get cool here without getting fog, which if you can get the cold without the fog, it's so much the better, because you don't end up with the moisture and the pressures with mildew and other stuff. The western edge of the property is that fence line you see on top of the near hill.
Yep.
There. So that big stand of oak trees up there is on the neighbor's ranch. Same thing with that cow pasture down in the bottom, neighbor's ranch. The eastern edge of the property is formed by Adelaida Road, which is the road you came in on. That goes around to the left and heads out towards Justin Winery and Lake Nacimiento and other stuff. The southern edge of the property is formed partially by Vineyard Drive, which heads southeast from here, and partially by Tablas Creek itself. There is a creek that runs through a corner of the vineyard called Tablas Creek that we get our name from. So the property is sort of an elongated, more or less a rectangle with a long axis going north-south. And one of the things that we really liked about it is that it's got a lot of different facings on it. It has sort of 2 main hills, obviously the big one up there, and then another one behind us. And so depending on where you are in relation to the tops of those hills, you've got north and south and east and west facing slopes, and we can match those up with how much heat the different varieties need. So the things which ripen latest, like Mourvedre and Grenache and Roussanne, get south and west facing slopes. The stuff that needs it cooler, like Syrah and Grenache Blanc, gets mostly east-facing slopes. And then the stuff which likes it really as cold as you can give it to them, like Viognier and Marsanne, get north-facing slopes.
So this has really been thought out thoroughly.
Yeah, it was thought out. This is all thought out from the beginning.
Right.
Sort of trying to match up. So,
very cool.
Jason, when you bought the property, were you able to buy it all as one piece?
Yeah.
So somebody owned.
Yeah, this was actually originally a separate parcel, but a part of the old McGillivray property, which was this big, well over 1,000-acre ranch out here. The bulk of which is now Halter Ranch, right down the street from us.
And was it barley? What was
it was alfalfa.
Alfalfa
And cattle. Basically, they would farm alfalfa here, and then they would let the cattle graze on the stubble after it was harvested.
Cool.
I mean, historically, this area out here, because there was enough rainfall to do grain farming, before the Central Valley opened to irrigation, this was kind of the breadbasket of California. Yeah. So it was all, they would do 2 harvests a year of grains out here. They do a winter wheat, they do a summer alfalfa or barley. And then, this was also the largest agricultural area for nut production, and you still see a lot of almonds and walnuts and pistachio trees as you drive around. At this point, they're only still up in places where nobody's figured out a better use for the land. They're not really viable anymore.